second episode of Let's Cook, Let's Chat with India Sweet. First, let me start off by saying thank you so much to everybody who watched the show last week, who wrote me, who texted me, who called. I got pictures of people that made the recipe. I just want to say thank you so much. All of your love and support means the world to me. Okay, so let's keep it going. This week, I never really know what I'm going to make until I go inside of the Whole Foods, right? I like to get inspired. Well, this week, I got inspired before I even hit the grocery store. I had to go dress shopping. I am in a wedding. My cousin is getting married in August, so we had to go for our bridesmaids fitting. And for any of you women out there that have been in weddings, whether you're a bride or a bridesmaid, bridal fittings are made to make you feel bad about yourself, right? Because you get these measurements. The lady measured me, right? And she's writing the things down, and I'm like, okay, did you measure us together? Because those can't be all of mine. Well, apparently they are. And when she was like, your measurements go to, and she's like, this is your size. When you go to a whole different division, you just feel awful about yourself. So I said, light fare this week. We kind of went heavy with the shrimp, the new Orzo New Orleans last week. Not this week. So I have a beautiful plate for us of a maple glazed rockfish on top of fresh heirloom tomatoes and sauteed avocado. Now stick with me till the end. A lot of people, either you love avocados or you don't. Just trust me on this one. If you try this one time for me, my people that don't like it, if you don't like it, then you never have to try it again. But if you're on the fence, just trust me. Okay, so we're going to start out making our rockfish maple glaze because we're going to want that to sit for about 30 minutes. An hour and a half would be great, but we want it to sit for at least 30 minutes to marinate before we put it in the oven. Okay, so right here, I have a half a cup of maple syrup, and I'm going to add, this is 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. Dijon or honey will kind of change the flavor profile, and plus I just like regular yellow mustard. I don't need all that fancy smanchy stuff. Okay. And we want to stir that up. It's really simple. We're not doing a whole lot of like cooking today, but more so of like making nice pairings of things. And the best part about this one is you don't have to cook it separately. I like it just like this. Then, before we put on our glaze, we want to put a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, make sure your rockfish, you want about 1.5 pounds is enough for 4 people. You know, some nice 5.5 to 6 ounces per person. Okay, now we're going to pour some of our glaze over. We're not going to use it all, just a little bit of the glaze because we want to save some for after it's finished cooking. And then it's time to get your hands dirty. So make sure they are fully covered. And also with your rockfish, before you cook it, I don't know how you might get it from your store. My father would go out and go fishing and bring it in. My mother would clean it. And then we would have it, and it's delicious. Just make sure you get the scales off the back. Nothing is worse than making a beautiful meal and forgetting to take the scales off the back of your fish. And then you have people pulling them out at your dinner table. Not a good look. I need to wash my hands. Okay, so now we want to cover it up and put it in the refrigerator. So like I said, at least a half an hour. If you have an hour to spend, that's even better. All right. Beautiful, nice and marinated in the oven, 400 for 20 minutes. Okay, so while our rockfish is in the oven, next up we're going to work on our heirloom tomatoes. And this is not even cooking. All of this is cutting up. We're going to put some salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder on them. Let them sit and marinate until we put them inside our dish. So this is one of the healthy parts of the meal, the healthiest, I should say. So I hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. Mine was pretty great. Shout out to our friends, the Millers, who came over and watched our brood of children, so my husband and I could get out the house for the first time in. I mean, I really just don't even know how long it's been since we were like able to go out and And I bought my A game. I really did. We had a great time. We even went to the Crime and Punishment Museum and looked at corpses and saw famous killers. To know me is to know that's my idea of a good time because I'm a Dateline fanatic. But the funny part was when we went to dinner, I thought I was cute. I said, I'm going to get dressed up for my husband nicely. I just had a baby and everything. We've got 3 kids. You got to make it happen when you can make it happen. You know what I'm saying, people? So I haven't worn heels in a long time. Pregnant, bad back, can't do it. So I decided that I want to wear one of my prettiest pairs of shoes. Now they're worth it. They're a gold sequin pair of Manolo Blahniks that are just like the cutest little thing in my closet. Well, I went out the house with flats on and didn't put them on until I was getting ready to pull up to the restaurant, and that was a big mistake because it's not like riding a bike, folks. There was no muscle memory there in my foot, and it was, let's just say, comical to say the least. I mean, it wasn't cute. I got out and I was scared to walk in, and then once I sat in my seat, I didn't want to move anymore because I felt like I was going to fall. And the thing is, I had to go to the bathroom so bad that I was talking about it in the car. So my husband is like, just go. And I'm like, no, I feel like I'm going to fall. And he's just like, who does that? And I was like, I'm sorry, I should have winged myself into these shoes. You can't go from not wearing heels at all to wearing a pair of 4.5-inch gold stiletto pumps. That was not smart. Okay, so our tomatoes are cut up here. We're just going to put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Let it sit and get all sweet up inside there. And then some garlic powder just over the top. And you don't have to worry about these bad boys anymore until we're plating. Okay. We'll take this, let this sit for a while, and next we're going to work on our All Hail Kale Caesar salad right now. Okay, so next up we have our All Hail Kale Caesar salad. It is, again, not cooking, just pairing and putting stuff together. And one of my favorite restaurants here in Tyson's Corner, Virginia, is called Coastal Flats, and they make a Caesar salad with dino kale, and it is absolutely delicious. I love Caesar salad, and sometimes you feel guilty, but when you use the dino kale, you don't as much because it's so healthy for you, and it's raw. Nothing is better than like raw vegetables, especially raw kale. So we're going to start out with dino kale. You don't want your regular kale, you want dino. So they look like big dinosaur leaves, so that's why they're called dino kale. And all we're going to do is we're going to roll it up like this. We're going to cut it, put it in the bowl, put some Parmesan cheese on top of it, and before we eat, toss it with our Caesar dressing. So you get the good dressing, but you still get some good vitamins along with it. Okay, so anyway, back to Valentine's Day. Long story short, I pulled it together. I walked to the bathroom very slowly, might I add, and I made it. We had a really good fun night. What can I say? My family and I, we were true social butterflies this weekend. We had a date night on Valentine's Day. We went and hung with our friends, the Johnsons, on Saturday. We went to see Disney on Ice on Sunday. It was a busy weekend for us, what can I say? But the crowding, I love my family and everything, very much so. Oh, but the best part of my weekend was Sunday night and the 40th anniversary of SNL. And my friends, can I just say, it lived up to the hype. To know me is to know I absolutely love SNL. And to see all those celebrities that came from there or graced the stage with hosting, it was amazing. And it started out with the hilarious Will Ferrell in that Jeopardy sketch. It had me in tears. Everybody else was good, but Will Ferrell, as always. I mean, he has to be one of the best skit actors there at SNL, that no matter whether the skit is funny or not, Will Ferrell is going to make you laugh one way or the other. And it, from start to finish, it was great. Now, except this one part with Chris Rock, giving that tribute to Eddie Murphy, made this big thing of Eddie Murphy being back. Then all of a sudden, we think he's going to do some type of skit or he's going to do something. Chris Rock comes out and he starts talking about Eddie Murphy. And then I'm waiting for him to go on and talk about somebody else too. But he stays on Eddie Murphy and he's still talking. And then it starts just to become weird. And then he's still going. And at this point, it's just awkward, okay? It's just awkward. And all of a sudden, after a good 4.5 minutes of him just saying how Eddie saved the show, how Eddie was this and that. And I'm like, aren't y'all the same age? This is just, I'm starting to feel dirty. Before he introduced Eddie to come out, I felt like Chris Rock should have wiped his mouth because I'm like, dude, that was a lot. And then Eddie comes out there being to school, everybody's giving him a standing ovation. I'm like, okay, while Eddie Murphy is a comedic genius, when you have Robert De Niro, you have all kinds of Michael Douglas in the audience, I love Eddie. Don't get me wrong. Coming to America is still one of the favorites of all time. Sexual chocolate. But still, it's not like he's winning Oscars for playing a farting grandmother at a Nutty Professor table, and I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. It was just a little bit weird. But other than that, I thought the show was great. Okay, so after we fill up our bowl with our kale, you want some Parmigiano Reggiano. Please, the good stuff, because there's nothing worse than in a salad to have waxy cheese. So it's a good cheese can make your Caesar salad. It can make it or break it. So look how easy that was. All we did was chop and put in a bowl and cover it with a little bit of cheese. Okay, so right before we eat, we're going to toss it with our Caesar dressing. And for me, I just use my favorite one from the store. You can use whatever brand you like. Okay, now for our avocados. I have 2 avocados here, which is enough for like a half avocado for each person. Split it in half. Take your seed out. And then we want to peel them up and try to keep them as whole as possible when you're taking the skin off. So we're going to make our plate look pretty. Okay, so the SNL, I mean, it was just absolutely great. From Martin Short to Maya Rudolph to the 2 people who could not have been there at the same time but were almost the same person, and Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg even did a digital short together, which was great. But one of my favorite females of all time is Molly Shannon. I love she started off the show, and nothing is better than a great Mary Catherine Gallagher skit just to get you going in between your day. When I get nervous, sometimes I take my hands, I stick them under my arms, and I smell them like this. How can you not laugh at a Molly Shannon joke? One of my favorite females of all time on SNL. Okay, now that our avocados have, I'm just going to cut it diagonally and be very careful because they should be nice and bright. So as long as you're delicate with them, they'll cut pretty and stay nice for you. But overall, I said, you know what? I want to be at 50, because if 40 was this grade, 50, this chica needs to be in the house. I mean, they even got Kanye to make fun of himself. Kanye! I mean, really. Even though this week, I don't think he had much of a choice. Once again, a great performance, and what made it stay great is that he didn't make any crazy headlines. I think Jay-Z took him to the side and said, dude, look, this is my wife, and I don't even love her that much. Can you stop doing this? Because it's starting to get a little weird here. But he came out, gave a great performance, was funny. They put him in a couple of sketches, even the beginning thing at the start of the show when he came up with the Today Show and took the mic from Matt Lauer. That wasn't planned. It just was spontaneous. It didn't happen, and that's the Kanye that we like to see. So let's finish cutting up these avocados. Okay, so now we're finished chopping up. Have our pan over like medium heat, and then we're going to slowly put our avocados in there. Depending on their ripeness, they're probably very delicate, so just take your time with them. Just take your time, because they will break. then the plate won't look that pretty. Okay. So once we get them all in a pan, and it's really only going to take like 30, 45 seconds each side, okay? A little bit of salt, just a teeny bit. Because you just want them just to a little bit and keep their freshness. Ever so delicately, we can just plate them right here next to our tomatoes until we are ready to build our plate. All right, so before we plate our entree, let's finish our salad. Your favorite Caesar dressing. Mine, I love Marzetti. Theirs is so good. It's in the refrigerated salad dressing aisle. They have a really good balsamic vinaigrette too. So just mix it up a little bit here. Toss it and make sure it's nicely coated. And once it's nicely coated, little side salad bowl and fill to perfection. All right, now let's plate our entree. And now we build our plate. First go avocado, then tomatoes, then you top it off with your fish. Once you put your fish on the top, you're going to finish it off with a little bit of your maple glaze that you have left and just drizzle it ever so lightly all around, a little bit on the plate for good measure. Now it's time to eat. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. I hope you like the lighter fare, and if you like the avocados, let me know, especially for my people that are on the fence. They take on the flavor profile of anything you put them with, and they give you those nice, good, healthy fats. Until next time, hit me up in between on Facebook to find this recipe and so much more. India Sweet. Also on Twitter, Indo Sweet Sports. On Instagram, which I love posting, India Sweet. Any email questions about recipes you might want to see on the show, food pairings, or anything, always email me at letscooklетschat@gmail.com. Until next time, always